This is Ian Lamont, publisher of Easy Genie Genealogy Charts, and today, 5 new types of records now available through full text search on FamilySearch. If this video helps, please take a moment to like it and follow me. Let's get started. So full text search, this is an experimental feature. Go to familysearch.org/labs. You should come to a page like this, and then you want to find the tab that says expand your search with full text, and then go to experiment, and you can start to dig up these records. Now, once you do your search and you're sorting through the different types of results, I wanted to highlight 5 types of records that are now available that weren't available before. Before it used to be wills and deeds. Now it's expanded to these other types of records. So the first type of record that you're going to be finding in FamilySearch full text search is the court minutes. So court minutes can be all kinds of stuff. This is a very interesting thing that turned up. I was searching for the name of my great-grandfather, and what happened was, actually this is my great-great-grandfather, and what happens was when he was in his 60s or 70s, he was, I think, the victim of fraud, he and some other people, by some scammer who allegedly lived in Maine. And this transcript, the quality of the transcript is very good. It turns up the whole story. I had no idea this happened, but my great-great-grandfather is named in this document, as well as some other familiar names, and I'm going to be digging through this later on to see what happened. So this is really fascinating. I wouldn't have been able to find this document in the past. So full text search, I think they use AI and other new technologies to really dig into the records in a way that wasn't possible before and surface these interesting results that relate to your ancestors. So this is a court minute from New York State. Other types of court minutes I found. This lists another great-great-grandfather who was on a jury trial, and he was in the jury pool, and that information was public at the time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And by the way, for either this jury trial right here or the other one, the fraud or the scammer from Maine, I could look in the newspaper. Now that I have the dates of these things, I can look in the newspapers, the historical newspapers, and find out more information about them. So another type of record that shows up in FamilySearch full text search are naturalization records. And as someone who has actually gone to the county courthouse to look at old naturalization records, oftentimes fruitlessly, this is really a godsend, because now instead of looking at the old paper indexes to find things, and maybe you don't find it or maybe it's in the wrong location, full text search just surfaces it right away. So this is showing the name of applicants in the 1840s, where they were from, and when they were naturalized. Now that I have this information, there's a couple great things about this. First of all, it lets me know when they came to the country. It must be before that date, probably several years before this date. And then also I can use this to try to surface other naturalization documents that might be out there. Now this is very early, and I think they were keeping information on ledgers. Later in the 1800s, the naturalization documentations and the processes, they were more, there's lots more documentation created, including like the birthplace of where they may have come from. But at this point, it just shows the nationality as well as the date of naturalization. This is useful information. Again, I found it in FamilySearch full text search. Another really interesting type of record now that turns up in FamilySearch full text search are real estate lawsuits. This is called a Liz Pendens record from the 1890s. And this one shows apparently my great-great-grandfather, as well as several of his siblings and maybe his children, were involved in they were sued over some sort of land deal or land dispute in northern New York. It lays it out right here. The transcript is very, very, very good quality, so I can dig into that later on. Now, of course, the great thing about having a real estate showing that a relative or an ancestor is listed is that if it shows other relatives, you can kind of expand the family tree, get more names, determine when people were alive. Oftentimes, I don't know when somebody like, Mary Lynch, maybe I don't have the death date for Mary Lynch, but now that I know that she was involved in this lawsuit, it must have been before 1894, she must have died after 1894 because she was listed in a lawsuit, and of course she must have been a living person at the time. So the fourth type of record that shows up a lot now, actually, usually at the top of results when I'm searching in full text search, are probate records. Sometimes guardianship records are in the same bundle. So this is a case where my great-great-grandfather was named, he was the executor of the estate, or he was responsible for managing the estate after someone passed away. So he showed up there. It's interesting to figure out if you can determine what the relationship was between this person and the other person. Were they business associates? Were they relatives? And I haven't looked into it yet, but I thought that was pretty interesting that that shows up. And then finally, the fifth type of new record that shows up in full text search are certain types of Canadian records. So these are land records for a part of Ontario. I searched for the name of an ancestor who lived in Ontario for a number of years. She was from the UK. She and her family emigrated to Canada. They lived there for 20 or 30 years, and actually my great grandmother was born there. And then they went back to the United States, but they were also going back and forth for different things. And apparently, she owned some land, or she was party to some sort of land transaction. She is named in this document. This is a Canadian document. I was very happy to find it because, frankly, the American records on this person are kind of scarce. So this is something that's really useful to me. So those are the five types of records: court minutes, naturalization records, real estate, lawsuits, probate records, as well as guardianship records, and Canadian land records. These records were not available before. They are now available on FamilySearch, full text search, so check it out at familysearch.org/labs. And if this video helps, please take a moment to like it and follow me. If you go to our official website, this is at easygenie.org. There's a link in the description. Click on blog and then search for FamilySearch, and I have tons more articles and videos about how to navigate FamilySearch, which is a fantastic free resource for genealogists. Signing off, thank you so much for watching.